Hi and welcome along to my FM19 save. My name is Mark and I'm here to talk to you about Leatherhead, who are a football club which I've decided to manage in this by downloading a lower leagues pack, which can be found, I think, on the FM Scout website. And it shows all the lower leagues. Leatherhead are actually in the Bostik League Premier Division. And I've been very fortunate with the players that I've inherited, really, to a certain extent. I've made some signings. And yeah, this is going to be a really long-term save. This is not going to be like a 5-minute save. It's going to be very long-term. And the idea is to obviously get them as far as they can. And can I get them into the Premier League? And maybe even better. A little bit about me, really. Leatherhead is actually quite a local team to me. I live just down the road. So it was ideal, really, to manage Leatherhead in this game. Because, like with anything, when you play a game, especially something like Football Manager, you want to manage a team that means something to you. You know, I'm an Arsenal fan at heart. And, when I manage Arsenal, it means more and I care more. So managing Leatherhead is probably the best option on here that I have. And I'm going to be looking to reshape the whole team and the whole squad, even the backroom staff and things like that. So I've already hired quite a few staff for training. I've hired new scouts. I've hired a director of football. So it's really exciting times. And I guess one thing in this save, as with all lower league management, is that the budget is really important on this. And our wage budget is 1,946. We are committed to spending 1,929, but actually we're currently spending 2,979. I assume that that's all on spending on players who are on part-time contracts and things that we're not committed to spending. So it's a little bit of a not a cheat, but it says that we have £15 per week available wage budget, but I know that we have a lot of players that are on either non-contracts or part-time contracts. So some are on a pay-as-you-play basis. So we were basically hamstrung financially from the beginning. That if I take you through the contract status, that there are players here on high wages. Paul Samakula, who you can see is pretty good. I actually play him in a box-to-box way. He's not amazing, and he's on £350, which when you've got a budget of just shy of £2,000 a week, that's massive. You know, that is massive. Will Salmon is also on 350, a very good player and one that we're really relying on. And he's producing the goods if you look at his average rating. But nevertheless, £350 is a lot of money. And at 31 years old, it's, that really hamstrings us. So I should imagine over the next year, you can see that some of them, all of the contracts run out at the end of this year. So I think we're on a bit of a year of pain in the first year. I've still recruited, and I'll take you through that in a minute. Robert Cullen seems to be like our star man. 33 years age, he's not going to go on forever. And again, he's on big money as well. So we've got to be a little bit careful. We've got Sean Okoji, who actually hasn't been starting as much recently. You can see he started. I basically went through a quick change of tactics, and I'll take you through that in a minute. Basically, the beginning of the season started off really well, or started really badly, and I decided to make a change in tactics, and it seems to have worked. But looking through this, all of the players that are on big money, or relatively big money, are players who aren't playing regularly. So Danny Gallagher is another one who, he comes off the bench, but generally speaking, he's not playing a lot. Jason is one of my signings that I actually made, so I can't moan about this one. But his performances haven't been great if you look at his average rating in the league. And so that's why we've got Cooney. Where is he? You can see here, who's on a pay-as-you-play contract. But if you look at his stats, or his average rating is a lot better. Kaiser's another one that I signed, and Mbuti as well. I signed all of them, and Nassau. All these others are on part-time contracts or pay-as-you-play. even the likes of Travis Gregory, who's another one of, if you like, our stars or one of our standout men. So if you look at his contract info, he is on an appearance fee only basis. So we only pay him when he plays. So if he doesn't play, he doesn't get paid. So it's a challenge. I think I've got a lot of changes to make over the next couple of years, and that's always the same in a save like this anyway. So you always need to make changes. Finance-wise, I think the sooner we can get way below the wage budget, the better, because it's more about what we're currently spending than what we're committed to spending. So this means nothing that it says £15 per week available wage budget. You think, right, Mark, you need to sign a player, buy a player. Another thing I'm not doing is loaning at the moment, and that's something, until a need comes up, I'm not going to loan. I like our players being our players rather than developing someone else's player. So if we go to the competition screen, we're in the Bostik Premier Division. We are 7 games in and we're 10th, which is probably better than what we were predicted to have done. In fact, I know it is because I looked. But if we go on the Bostik Premier League, and we look at season preview, we were predicted to come 13th. So we're pretty much in line with expectations, if not better, which is a good thing because it means that the save goes on. I can take you through the results. They come with a bit of a caveat. Number one is that the friendlies I didn't manage on the friendlies. I let my assistant take them. And they look to have gone pretty swimmingly. We played our first game against Corinthian Casuals and we lost 4-0. And I thought, right, well, this is down to earth with a bang. We played Whitehawk. I think we drew 0-0 and it looked better. But my concern is, number one, keeping clean sheets is not something you can expect to do regularly in lower league. And 2 was that we had played 2 games and we hadn't scored. And frankly, we hadn't looked like threatening. That was when we made the change that I said earlier about the striker. And we went for a different striker. So whereas we were playing Akoji up front in these first 2 games, I had a complete look at the tactics. So you can see Akoji there. And the tactics we were playing. And I completely blitzed them. So rather than playing the ball down the wings, which is where our strengths were, if I show you my tactics, my thinking on this was that our strengths are obviously the strike. It's obviously up front where our strengths are. It's the wingers and the advanced playmaker and the striker. Koji's even higher rated. So I thought that was a sensible way to go, but actually it wasn't working. And I've gone for a gegenpress approach, which seems to have changed immediately. I changed that. I had a bit of a structured look at it at quite a sit-down time instead of just bing, bang, bong. And that was when for Hornchurch we played that tactic. And we've changed the striker, you'll see there, Elliot Benyon, because he is a natural pressing forward. And we won, was it 3-0 or 4-0? 3-0. Seemed to dominate the game. The only moan there, I guess, is that the striker didn't get a goal. And I did put on Akoji in the end. But if we look at Hornchurch and where they are, okay, they are lower down the division as well. But at least it stopped the rot of losing and not scoring. All of a sudden we were sort of goals galore. And we moved on to Enfield Town, lost to Bognor Regis, and I thought, oh, here we go again. But fortunately, we played Cockfosters in the Cup. We won. We beat Harlow Town then in the league, and then we bought Carshalton. We defeated Carshalton. The wingers are getting quite a few goals, which is good, because that's where our strength is, and obviously Robert Cullen. And then we played Hastings United, who we drew in the Cup, so that was the second qualifying round. Beat them 2-1. But these teams are a couple of divisions below. They don't even have any players. They've got greyed out players. They don't have real players. Okay, Hastings United do. But nevertheless, it feels like we're on a bit of a roll, which is probably a good time to at least show you our progress of late. I think the next thing I will do is I'll move to Merston. Merston being relatively local to Leatherhead seems like a little bit of a derby, and probably a good game to show you. The fact that we're away is a little bit irrelevant. So that's, I guess, where we are. In terms of tactics, as I said, I've gone for Gegenpress. And with Gegenpress, what I've done is I've just dulled it down a little bit. So whereas Gegenpress, all the default settings were extremes. The pressing intensity was super urgent or more urgent. There you go. Extremely urgent. There you go. The defensive line was extremely high. I've brought that back to standard. I haven't touched too much here, but I think there was one about distribution, about playing out from the back and distributing to centre-backs and rolling it out. I've got rid of that because the players were losing it at the back, and I don't like the idea of messing it out. This is lower league. This is not. We haven't got the technical ability to be able to play this passing game. So in possession, we've gone for passing into space, and we've gone for a higher tempo. That was at a much higher tempo, and I've just dulled that down a bit. And I haven't touched about the width or anything like that. So that's where we're at with this. Those are the tactics that I've gone with. And like I say, they've started. Look, we're not going to win every game. I get it. But it does seem to start to bring in a little bit of a reward. Because we are starting to win games and we do look threatening as well. We're not just every highlight being, the other team. I think this guy, Will Salmon, is probably one of the strengths there, and I've got him in wing back in attack mode for that very reason. I think that Robert Cullen is obviously very important to us. He's our star man. There's a lot as well. Neil Spafford is having a steady game. There was one goal we let in that was ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous, but I guess that's part of lower league. But like I say, for this season, it's more about finding our feet. It's about finding the tactic that works, that I believe is this. And I think in the summer, there'll be a lot of changes of players coming in and going out to free up some of this money and start spending it wisely rather than having half the team on pay-by-you-play, the other half being on contracts that are really high. And we can start looking at actually recruiting some quality instead of kind of what we've got. We've got scouts out there now who are going to be looking at quality. Again, the players I've brought in have been literally from a trial basis. But I'm really excited about this save. I'm really excited to investing some time in this. Another mention on these tactics is that the Gegenpress automatic save is to have these both wide men as inside forwards. I've changed Hippolyte Patrick to be a winger because if I bring him into an inside forward mode, you see he's rated as 3 stars there. But if I put him as an inside forward on attack mode, he drops to 2. Which I think is just too, it's not strong enough. Whereas with Travis Gregory, as an inside forward, he's on 3. If I had him as a winger on support mode, he would probably be 3.5. There you go, actually. It's a lot higher. But I just feel like we can take the hit on that. He should be on support mode. We can take the hit on that, and he is learning that. That is what he's learning, is that position. As well as an inside forward, I've got him learning on agility and balance, more for the balance. But a lot of these players will probably not be here next season anyway. I want to keep hold of this guy if we can train him. And training-wise as well, obviously that's tough to get the right coaches. I feel like we've got a relatively decent standard of coaching here. Which isn't bad. So generally speaking, players are improving as well, which is nice to see if we go on the individuals. Generally speaking, they're improving. No one's really moaning about it. So let's see where we get from this. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you'll join me on this journey. As I said, it's not going to be a 5-minute thing. This is going to take a lot of seasons, and I'm happy to put in the time. As I said, budget management I think is going to be crucial to this, so I just need to keep an eye on that. But thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this introductory video, and I'll come back. If there's anything more you want to know, give me a shout and give me a message or something like that, and hopefully I can fill you in the next video. Thanks very much.